Oh, hello.
Hey, hey!
Hey, how you doing?
Oh man, Peachy figuring out how to use OBS after God knows how long of not having used it.
I think you're doing great so far.
Right? I am honestly impressed that I didn't have to tell you like, hey, I need more time. Technical difficulties.
How are you doing this fine day? Outside of OBS finagling.
Not bad, not bad at all. Except for my what's it called? Driver's side window decided it doesn't want to come back up again. So that's been fun in this really cold weather.
Oh, that actually really sucks. I'm sorry.
Hey, what can you do? That's just cars always just want to. It's just like they're designed to you after a certain point of time.
Yeah, not the most reliable machines, unfortunately.
No. Oh, and I swear like a sailor without thinking. So I want to apologize. Like,
You are
is that all
totally
right or
you're
no?
totally fine too. Also, please introduce yourself to the people in my audience. I'm live on my end.
Oh, cool. Good evening, everybody. My name's Rico Baker. Y'all can just call me Rico. Uh, I go by Rico Rants on YouTube and Twitter. Um, yeah, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Talk politics, society, culture, whatever, and honestly, just whatever I feel like talking about. Like that includes nerd shit and whatever just whatever tickles my fancy at the time. So, and I'd like to think I'm pretty good at talking about just about everything except for football. Don't ever ask me about football.
I will not ask you about football. Not exactly my strong suit either. So we
Good.
were disagreeing on Twitter a little bit. That's why you wanted to talk, I assume.
Yeah, a little bit. What was because I watched the video, like the title and the video almost feel like they were two separate things after having watched the video. So I realized my disagreement was largely with the title,
No, I stand by the
not
title
it's not.
fully.
Oh no, I'm sure I know. It's just having watched the video, it felt like well, like I said, the title was I was expecting you to go like really in depth on that, but you everything you didn't. I mean, like what you said in the video, nothing was wrong,
Oh, well, thank
but
you. Most people
yeah,
don't
you know
even
what I mean.
bother to watch the video.
Oh yeah, no. I had no disagreements with anything in the video. It's just my only contention, I would say, is that not even so much as the title, but I don't feel that the left is failing men. I feel that and I put out a tweet thread about this basically before I saw your video, kind of pointing out as to why I feel so many men uh fall for people like Andrew Tate and the like. And I want to actually wanted to hear your thoughts on this one. Because I think I don't know if you covered for. I've kind of watched most of your videos, so maybe you did, and I just forgot. But basically, it's like it is objectively true that we know that reactionary content on social media gets signal boosted. It's period. You know what I mean? Like if you are conservative, just outright reactionary, or just whatever bad shit you want to say, you are more likely to get the clicks. You know what I mean? Like healthy, positive discourse or whatever, yeah, maybe 100 likes. But you come out and saying some buck wild ass shit like Andrew Tate says, you'll be signal boosted on every social media platform. Period. And there's just no left wing equivalent to that, and there's really not much we can do about that. Given how these social media platforms work, like there's plenty of us out there. There's plenty of us that talk about. Hello.
Ah, hello.
Oh my god, did I just say all of that and you didn't hear any of it?
Oh, you cut out entirely. I have no idea why that happened.
Oh, Discord. Wait, what was the last thing you heard me say?
The last thing I heard you say was, let me see. You said that you hadn't seen all of my content, and you said that the right-wing favorable algorithms on social media are something that we can't really do anything about. That was the last thing I remember.
Yeah, basically, just summer. And well, to clarify, I have watched your content, like most of it. That's what I said, actually.
Oh, then I misheard you. Sorry.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan, believe it or not.
Oh, howdy.
But no, no. To summarize that one thing, I was like, with regards to the left, I don't feel like the left is failing or lacking in some way. It's just that we can't compete with, or rather, we can't combat the way these social media platforms advertise content. You know what I mean? It's just right wing to reactionary content gets it, we know this based off reports from Facebook and so on and so forth that have just and Twitter and era saying like all over the world saying yeah reactionary content, right wing content, whatever is gonna it gets favorability in the algorithms. Like people like you and I, no matter what we say, no matter how good it is, it's just not gonna get the same clout as any flavor of Andrew Tate out there.
Okay. I disagree with this completely, I think. There are
Hit me.
definitely conservative biases when it comes to how social media operates, but I don't think that means we can't compete. I think that our failure here is more willful than that. There are advantages in our favor as well. Advertiser pressure will usually disclude the kinds of content that conservatives produce because it's more, well, rapey or racist or involves saying more slurs. There are things we can use to our advantage here. We do hold some hegemonic positions, especially when we're talking about people like Tate. Right-wing
Yeah,
biases may be present in social media, but the views of Tate are still not like the hegemonic, collectively accepted, like standard, straightforward, easy to promote, kind of views that say we could be promoting.
yeah.
Like don't rape people, for example. I just don't want to fall into like this defeatist mindset where it's like, well, there's nothing we can really do because the deck is stacked against us anyway. We can do a lot because we're failing pretty hard on this right now.
Well, I would say on that note, I do want to be clear. I'm not a defeatist. I am sorry if I gave that impression what I just said. I definitely means like when I say there's not much we can do. What I mean is we it's an uphill battle for us compared to them.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
I agree with that, but I don't think it's really relevant because on this issue we're basically like punching ourselves in the dick. I think we do a
Oh yeah,
remarkably bad job at this specific thing. Honestly, we're pretty bad at many kinds of outreach. Frustratingly, the right has always been a lot better at falling back on specific messaging because they always have leaders because their ideology is much more naturally hierarchical than ours. Like for a
yeah,
while it felt like we had a pretty easy, cohesive line to get behind with Bernie Sanders, but he's no longer the unambiguous leader of the American left, which means that we don't have that like unifying voice. And so after he lost the primaries, a bunch of online lefties have sort of retreated back to their bedrooms to become stalwart warriors against, I don't know, microaggressions in the way washing machines are gendered in German or something. Whatever the fuck lefties occupy their time with when they're not being told what to do by somebody smarter than them. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so I think on this issue we are being particularly stupid, though. This like masculinity, man, loneliness, incel bit.
yeah. No, no, definitely. I would say I said this before a long time ago, but our opposition to hierarchies and leadership and such, like the way we go about, we basically are the antithesis to organization. You know what I mean? Whereas the right will pretty much like, think about how they unify behind their guys, no matter how fucking terrible they are. They lockstep and drop it. You know what I mean? They are in sync, message repeated ad nauseum everywhere. There's very little uh getting in each other's way to get their message out. You know what I mean? Whereas we can't fucking help ourselves but to jump down each other's throat for every little fucking infraction
So I've
and
noticed.
disagreement because you know what I mean for every little fucking thing, no matter what it is, to the point that we effectively that's what the word I'm looking for is I mean, yeah, it's getting our own way. We just stop or we what's the words the Republicans do it basically with our government that makes it where it's like deliberately rendered ineffective. The word is lost on me, and I
Malicious
that is
incompetence?
almost malicious
Obstruction?
incompetence. Obstruction. There we go. We obstruct each other in in every fucking
Well, I
way. And
agree
yeah,
with the obstruction and the malicious incompetence.
yeah, no, I don't deny that 100%. Yeah, we could stand to get out of each other's way, but at the same time, I don't see many people trying to be like no. I can't tell if it's a humility thing or a fear of you know ever of the left turning against them, as the left often does, or factions of the left. Because it's just we're really big on factionalism for some fucking reason. Um, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, it's I don't know who would be the who would be the ones to to take up the mantle when there's so many different factions of the left that'll just be like, nah, fuck you,
I just
and a
I
lot of
I
people will just
I just don't think this should be that ambiguous of a topic. I'm not asking for everyone to be an expert on these issues or whatever. That's a little bit much.
yeah,
I'm just asking for people on the left to drop the open hostility to men's issues, which is pretty weird.
yeah.
Um,
Well, but that and then that's where I guess I was trying to see, because I asked quite a few people to like point out to me like where is maybe I don't frequent those circles and I'm just not seeing it, but I don't see the open hostility to men that a lot of people claim is there, and I'm just like, where is it? I don't see it.
well,
Am
I
I missing something?
well, I did a tweet thread where I said that the left should pay attention to men's issues, and thousands of people accused me of defending incels and rape,
Yeah,
which felt pretty weird. The apparent rhetorical tying of men's issues to misogyny is a pretty flagrantly like anti-men attitude on the left. Because if you think that any advocacy for men has to be something socially harmful, you're kind of morally opposed to helping men. Then
yeah. Two notes on that. On the one hand, well, yeah, there I consider a factor of like anything you specifically say, people are going to try to twist against you because a lot of people just hate you for the fucking fun of it.
That's
You know what I mean?
that's true, but this
You know
is
what I
one of
mean?
the
Like,
reasons they hate me though, is because I talk about stuff like this. Like
yeah,
this feeds
like
into the yeah, the
it feeds into that. Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's just on the one hand, no matter what you say specifically, people are coming after you. Like they're going to twist it and just pick the least charitable version of whatever it is you meant. So that's why I was a little worried that maybe that's kind of skewed your view of people, because the hate followers are there and they're not going anywhere.
yeah, I
You know what I
agree
mean?
that there's a bias there, but there's definitely like a larger thing here. Because I say lots of stuff, it's not like I only pop out of my cave once a month. I make public statements all the time. The
Mm.
left freaked out over this one. It has to be something specific. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah,
It can't be just a general anti-me disposition. Otherwise, this reaction would have been the same as anything else I go about or say. That is to say, like
yeah, yeah.
some people freak out, but for the most part, um, people don't really care about it. Like there's definitely an anti-men's issues attitude in the left because they think all men's issues have to be like MRA tier red pill bullshit.
Yeah, no, there's a conflate there. There's that conflation between that. But like if you bring up men, where I'll say the well has been so poisoned by on the one hand MRAs, and on the other hand people who I would argue just genuinely hate men. Uh, or and then there are the people who just the not all men type of guys who will not hesitate to shit on other men to make themselves look better. So it's like threefold flavors of bullshit that plays into why it's very, very difficult to just have an honest conversation about men and men's issues.
Well, then it sounds like we agree then, because if we agree then that the well is so poisoned on this issues that lefties will treat any advocacy for men's issues as misogyny, then that is my point. That is the reason I said the left helps Andrew Tate. Because as long as the left is that openly hostile to men's issues, men with issues are going to go looking elsewhere for their solutions.
In which case, that's why I'm glad I came to talk to you, because Twitter is a dog shit platform to get that point across more clearly, at least to me. Like I wasn't seeing what you were saying. You know what I mean? But now having talked to you and we both back and forth on that, now I see that yeah, we see that issue the same way. I guess for me, well, more specifically, I other than just like like a vague amalgamation of the left, with the varying factions that we have, and obviously anonymous random assholes who don't hesitate to just say the worst fucking things possible. I was looking for more specific, like, is there anybody, like, could you name anybody specific, like an actual prominent person within these factions that fits that description? That it has some actual influence other than just a bunch of loud anonymous assholes. You know what I mean?
You mean who has like an anti-male disposition?
Yeah.
I would say it is I would like just name all the figures. Um, Contra tends to be good about this stuff. Probably Abigail Thorne, H-Bomb probably buys into this bullshit to an extent. Sean definitely does. I would just say all of them. I would just get all the names. I think it's a general
Damn.
disposition on the left. There might be a couple of people who are good on this specifically. I think that Bo the Fifth Column is generally pretty good about it. But this
Yeah.
reflexive
Love that guy.
distaste towards the concept of taking these issues that men have seriously, it seems to be a really general thing, or at least I have to infer that, because like every time statements to this effect get made, um the left as a whole seems really antagonistic towards it, and then like broader figures will sometimes subtweet about it, like I know Sean did, for example, a couple others did. um uh
And maybe it's just me, but I felt like it's because those people just like taking a shot at you.
well,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
Like they won't let you have that conversation. Like they don't want to hear it from you
I don't
for
think
like
they
the same reason.
I don't think they want
What's
to
up?
hear it. I don't think they want to hear it. There's a limit to which I'm willing to blame this on my reputation specifically, because I don't because this seems to be borne out like all the time, over and over again, in how the left acts generally. This whole like
I say basically this. I would say I say a lot of the same things you say, or say things to the same vein, and I don't get. Maybe it's because I'm not as big. Um, but I don't get that type of backlash. You know what I
well,
mean? I don't.
there is a size difference there, of course, but also if you said the things I say, then you wouldn't have taken issue with that original video title of mine, because I'm not
Yeah, no.
just saying that the left could do better on this. I'm blaming the left. I think they're morally wrong. I think they're hurting us. I think they're killing themselves. And I think a lot of the people on the left who act this way just genuinely don't like men. They're just like misandrist in the same petty,
Yeah,
irrational
there is.
way a lot of
Oh yeah,
people
yeah.
are
No, no,
racist.
no doubt about that. I would say because, like I said, a lot of people reached out to me based off my reaction to you, and started showing me that a lot of people really are just misandristic, and I'm just not seeing it. But there's a lot of fucking people that are. But the thing is, I don't know if how should I put this? Maybe it's because the left that I engage with isn't like that.
They probably
That
are,
I
though.
that I'm that I'm biased against the idea that the left as a whole is like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about what you mean by like that, though, because I don't know if I've ever
Misandristic
seen.
and of misandristic and outright opposed to even discussing men's issues. Like I have not, in all my time, I have not engaged with anybody. I don't know how I haven't, but I haven't. I really haven't. I have not engaged with anybody who is opposed to talking about men's
It
issues on the
depends.
left.
It depends on what you mean by men's issues, because
If I
most.
let's for example, bringing up uh men's loneliness, the loneliness epidemic, worldwide thing for
You
men
mean the
with
one that
loneliness.
also led to a bunch of people on the online left saying that I was encouraging rape against women and saying that men are entitled to women's bodies? That other time, the second most recent time, the left freaked out at me and said that I was doing incel shit.
That's the crazy thing is I don't understand how anyone can come to that conclusion with you because there are actual guys like that I've seen. I don't know if you ever seen this one guy, fucking David Charette, who's basically asking for exactly that. And I know and I've seen his type before. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know how they conflate, how they point to you as an advocate for that when there are guys like that that are actually out there you can easily point to and they're not shy about it.
Well, people on the left have been pretty crazy about me for a while. It's a
And that's what I mean. It's you. They
no.
want
It's
to
it's
just
it's the issue. other because I say lots of stuff. There is a disposition against this specific topic. Um, I assume largely because they are so, like you said, the well is poisoned because of the MRA stuff. Um, it can't just be an anti-me thing because this behavior is omnipresent. Casual man hating
It's
is not.
entirely an anti-you thing. I'm just saying that is, I would say not as equally a factor. Like I said, I guess we disagree on to what extent like is the anti-men sentiment in the left, and then the anti-you sentiment that is it are they equally bad? Is it one more than the other, more so than the other? I lean more towards uh the former of the two, whereas it's just they are a lot of people are just not just refuse to let you have that
There
conversation
there
because
is an
they
anti
can't
there
stand
is
you.
an anti-me bias. I don't deny that, but it goes so
Yeah,
far beyond that. You can
yeah,
make casual negative statements about men basically anywhere in left online circles. You can make casual jokes about killing men, or that men deserve less, or men deserve worse, or that men are trash, or whatever. These aren't even like commented upon. These are just very generally accepted things on the left. You can just do that.
you know,
The only thing I can think of that you can't say in the left with regards to disparaging men, I don't think you can say like, like I don't care if men get raped. I think that's the line that a lot of left-leaning people
yeah,
will
yeah,
draw because that's so obviously villainous that even that line is kind of there. But apart from rape jokes about men, you can say like a lot of stuff about guys that's very like if you pardon me, flip the genders, if you said it casually about a woman would obviously be read as misogynistic, and and the left doesn't have an issue with it. Now,
yeah.
I don't mind edgy jokes. I think depending on the context of the joke and how funny it is and what you're trying to say, I think you can get away with a lot. But it is telling that the left is incredibly permissive of these jokes against men,
Yeah,
but on women, absolutely not. Same with white people and black people, though I think that's not as much of an immediate issue because white people don't really face their own specific issues in the same way that men do, because for a variety of socioeconomic reasons. But being white is more of a privilege over being non-white than being a man is over being a woman. I think like there are more sort of reciprocal penalties patriarchally against men.
I
Um,
was actually about to bring up that comparison because I've actually brought this up before in the past, where they're on the left, and it disgusts me, and I've called it out numerous times. There is undeniably a casual disdain for white people that even white people engage in to
yeah,
the
for
point
sure, it's pretty
you know what
cringe.
I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, and I see that, and I like when conservatives say that there's anti-white racism. I pointed out that it's like, hey, it's not. There is not anti-white racism in the conspiratorial government, trying to kill all white people way that they frame it as. But there is absolutely this permissive, casual disdain for white people among the left. Like it is the things that again other white people say about white people, and I'm just like, who? Why are you doing this? And now, thinking of that comparison, I see what you mean. It's just it is there. It
right.
is
And
that I've seen plenty of.
And again, I want to be clear here, okay? The reason I say stuff like, I think the left helped people like Andrew Tate isn't because I think that all the poor men and white people are having their lives ruined by behaviors of the left leaning people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
Right.
as a political movement, we have a responsibility to practice the best optics possible when it comes to outreach. Even the
Yeah.
right, as openly racist as they are, make an active effort to reach out to people of color and to women,
Yeah.
in a variety of ways. And that's because at the end of the day, this is a numbers game. The unwillingness of the left to take this element of the discourse seriously or to put their own like stake in it really weakens us, which is a huge issue, especially because like young frustrated white guys are literally the backbone of basically every damaging social movement in history. It's very
Yeah.
dangerous to leave them unaccounted.
Yeah. No, and on that note, um, what was shit? What was I about to say? Basically, the left, yeah, could definitely say like, if nothing else, stop being so permissible towards that. Like, stop just being so okay with how men are regularly, denigrated. You know what I mean? Someone does it, call it out. You know what I mean? It's just anything other than just looking at it and then just letting it fly and letting some, uh, disgruntled white kids see that and then think, yeah, these people don't give a shit about me. Yeah, I would say that particularly about white guys, there is definitely just a cat like you that, and that's what I mean. It's specifically towards white guys because you can't talk about black guys in the same way on the left as you can about white guys. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. But
Yeah,
usually if you talk about stuff like this, you get framed as a, like you're a whiny crybaby for the other side or whatever, or you're trying to introduce reactionary politics or somehow like lessen progressive analysis or whatever else. It sounds like we mostly
yeah.
agree then, which I'm confused by because when I saw your tweets for a while after that video of mine came out, it seemed like you were quite negative to what I was saying.
Negative to the source, the sentiment, and to be clear, even with my disagreement, I still I have no issue with you because I understand at least broadly what you're getting at. I just and I don't and I again I will apologize for this because I acknowledge my own biases. I because I like I said earlier haven't seen it to the extent that you have being a black man online largely. I don't have to deal with that in the way that you do. I definitely get that now. I'm having, putting all the pieces together that you have to deal with a side of the left that I don't. And so because I don't see that, I just that I basically assume that you just kind of exaggerating it to do what a lot of people do, where it seems really popular for leftists to just shit on the left. It's the memes that you've seen over the years of just the left always attacking the left, and then leftists also watching and laughing, and then other leftists watching and instigating. It's just that's what it felt like to me. Just another iteration of left attacking the left because it's just a thing we fucking do for some reason.
I understand that. My only goal here is for the general discourse to improve. It's not. It's one of the reasons why I also don't talk specifically like naming names or whatever else. I don't really think it's productive, and I also don't think everyone really has like the ability to speak on this issue. The reason why, Jordan Peterson rose to prominence in 2017, Tate in 2022. The people who can like really act as a um as like an avatar for this kind of discourse, it doesn't happen super often. The problem is
Yeah,
the left doesn't even throw their hat in the ring, really. I don't even know if the left puts any effort into. I don't think they do in terms of like a male role model archetype. I don't even think there's like a concern or a consideration there, which is pretty weird. I'm not saying that I can do that necessarily. It's just a matter of
no,
like other people
I
need to
can't
not get in
I
the
can't even
way.
I can't think of anyone either. Like I'm trying to think, or I've been since our conversation, I've been racking my brain. I'm like, are there any left wing male role models? And I can't think. I genuinely can't think of one. There's no left wing equivalent to on the of role model status on the left to like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson, and I sincerely can't think of one.
The closest one that I can think of right now is Hassan, but I don't really think he's capable of weighing in that much with the prescriptive stuff. I would have to think about it. I don't. He does a lot of the like himbo shit or whatever, but I don't think
Yeah,
he. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I
yeah,
don't. He
you see what
might
I'm
be able to
saying?
step up on that.
It's hard to fucking pin down, isn't it? Like when you think about it, as regards to like there is no like there's a bunch of us who I would say are a bunch of us left wing men who are good. I would say, like at least broadly speaking, I mean, we got our flaws, made our mistakes, yada yada yada. But who is the Jordan Peterson esque role model of the left that every faction at least is willing to listen to? You
I
know what I mean?
I think the biggest denunciation I could make of the left's attitude on this broadly is that I bet you a lot of online lefties would say we don't need a Jordan Peterson like figure. Or
Exactly.
right,
Yep.
or like the
And,
existence of one would be inherently harmful or something, which I massively disagree with. Obviously, we would try
oh,
not to take the whole fascism angle, but yeah.
But then my question is, how do we get that? You know what I mean? How is it even possible on the left? Honestly,
It's completely possible. I don't think like the version of masculinity that gets sold to young men from people like Peterson and Tate is psychotic and undesirable and also not really achievable. I think that it's totally possible for the left to go about this. All you need to do is really like give men answers, explanations, and life advice that doesn't set them down an explicitly reactionary, like anti-feminist path or whatever. And I think that's extremely doable. You know, I feel like that's a natural progression or whatever. Like, yeah, you know, like here's some because the thing that the right doesn't want young men to do is be happy, get laid, and then like live in a cottage house with their wife and empty balls. Because the moment they do that, they stop caring about the culture war. This is one of the reasons why the like Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate cells are kind of a self-perpetuating phenomena, because the advice they give is terrible, and these fuckers aren't getting laid. And because they're not getting laid, they continue to feel they need that advice. And because they continue to feel they need that advice, they continue to listen. It all feeds into itself.
Yeah, it's like you just said, self fulfilling prophecy. Their advice is ultimately so damn toxic that it has the opposite effect of what they believe that advice is supposed to lead to, which again, they just keeps them angry and frustrated. And I mean, and the thing is, that's what's profitable. Keep them angry, frustrated. Don't actually solve any of the problems. Because I mean, if you solve the problem, if their ideas actually solved the problem, well, there really wouldn't be much need for them anymore after that.
Yeah. No,
And
I agree.
yeah, and so whereas on the left, I think that's what's different about it. Definitely different about between us, because we're actually trying to solve the problem, even if it's not profitable for us to do so, even if it's against our best interests, our economic best interests, and social status best interest to do so. Like, we solve the problem. They say thank you. I have a relationship now, and then they just kind of tune out. They don't need you anymore. We're like we don't we don't have that same type of egotism required to do what they do to people. You
Speak
know
for
what I mean?
yourself.
Because
I'm entirely here for the paycheck. Um, no,
I wish.
I'm kidding, of course.
Uh,
Um,
if someone want, hey, I'm trying to become a therapist, so because I talking to people is what I do, and the thing is, I'm like, well, I might as well get paid to do it. You know what I mean? So that's at least that's for me. I am definitely I want to help people, but I also want to get paid.
well, you know what they say: if you enjoy your job, you never work a day in your life. It's bullshit, of course. It's still work, but it's a nice saying.
It's a
If
nice saying, yeah.
it seems we agree on the core points then. Um,
Yeah. Broadly speaking, yeah, definitely.
well, if that's the case, it's been a delight to talk with you. It's good to know that, you know, not everyone is fucking insane on this issue.
Oh
Unfortunately, this
no,
is
no,
going to
no.
be a theme for today's stream because we have like hours pending of talking about male rapists and what to do about that. You hear about the Andrew Callahan stuff?
I was about to look into that today. It's been a long
Oh,
day, but I've seen enough to know that I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. There is something
interesting is a
I wanted to
word.
run by you though.
What's up?
Um, with regards to male loneliness, like what's contributing to it. There's um, what are the because you've brought up before, with regards to our car centric society, further isolating us from each other. Um, but here's another one I thought of. It's not just what our that also further isolates us. It's it's our entertainment. Like before, internet and streaming took off to the way that it did. All we have is cable and just a select few channel shows, whatever the case may be. And back then, you could know what you could at least have a rough idea what other people were watching, because there wasn't that many options to begin with. You know what I mean? So you, even if you were an antisocial person, you could at least look to somebody else and maybe ask them, "Hey, did you see that show?" And then they're like, "Yeah, I saw that. Of course, I saw it. I watched it too." And then there was a lot more. It was a lot easier to find commonality with regards to just speaking on entertainment back then than there is to now, because now with all again advent of internet and streaming, everyone is individually catered to. There is a niche down to the wildest, weirdest shit for absolutely everyone, and because of that, now it's like you really have no idea what anyone else is into unless they like wear one of those shirts and those shirts or armbands, whatever the fuck that just says either they wear their interests on their sleeve, quite literally. You know what I mean? it's so for people like me who's already extroverted, I have no problem talking to somebody who I don't know what they're into, and then building and just kind of bouncing back and forth, even if I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. But for people who are already struggle with like socializing and such, the increased lack of common interests have only made that is only further exacerbated. And I want to ask your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think my take has been that I think dropping entire seasons of shows at a time has been one of the worst things ever done for like media as a concept. The big thing
Absolutely.
that contributes to like building a culture or a community around a show is like a TV show is like watching
Mhm.
episode to episode and all the intrigue that develops in between episodes and the fandoms and all that crap. And
Yes.
none of that can happen if you drop it season by season. Like it can't happen. It's not possible.
Yeah. No, it's because everybody would just binge it and then forget about it. Yeah. So it's whatever. It just kind of came and went. Whereas, like, remember when Game of Thrones first came was out, and like that was all anybody talked about. Like waiting episode to episode, talking about it between
Yeah.
episodes.
Or Breaking
And
Bad,
like
Better Call
Breaking
Saul.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul
You know what I
also got a
mean?
huge headway.
Exactly.
For it.
You know what I mean? I would say it will definitely help. Is obviously there's no incentive to do that. Well, at least for for the media industry. But if there was any, if anyone who has had some self awareness to be like, hey, maybe this is damaging to society as a whole, that we kind of broken people up into little micro cultures, uh, with very short attention spans and further just killing any discussion about our products anyway. And maybe we should stop that and kind of go back to what it was before. Because that's when things were better. You could talk to anybody about
Right.
Game of Thrones back in the day.
Return to tradition, like the fascists have always advocated.
It's there are some things I'm like, hey, we could stand to go back to, and that's one of those things. I am not one of those fascist dumbasses say, let's go back to the '60s. I'm black. I don't want to go back to the '60s, but I definitely would love to go back to cable, please, or to just episodic releases to entertainment, please, so I could talk to somebody around here and be like, hey, did you see that episode? And we go from there. You know what I mean?
No, I fully get you. No. I
So yeah, that's
completely agree. It's just about giving people like ways to communicate with each other.
giving people better ways to communicate each other, because I feel like that is just as much a contributor. I feel like we have lost a lot of the means to communicate with each other, and that is not good.
It's all right. We still have v.gg. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's all I want to run by you.
no. I fully get it. Well, I'm glad we agree on that at least. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree with your premise, which is that we need to return to the 1960s so men can get laid more. Um, it's been a delight to speak with you. The clips are already shipped. You can't recover. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for hopping on.
Right back at you, brother, and make sure you take your breaks and shit, because 6 hours is that's fucking torture, man.
That's okay. I always disappoint my stream by ending early anyway, so probably will again this time.
They're used to it. They'll get over it.
Oh, shout yourself out, by the way.
Oh yeah, again, if there's anything y'all want to talk about, if you feel like I haven't covered it here, or feel like you just want to talk about men's issues or any issue really, I don't give a shit. You can find me on Twitter on Rico_rants. You can find me on YouTube as Rico Rants, whatever the case, or just you're not gonna be able to spell my fucking name unless I type it out. But basically, Dorico Baker. You know what I mean? That's it. That's where, or Chad Roan Thundercock. Long story about that one.
I'm sure some of them will be
Uh,
able to get it right.
yeah, no. That if y'all want to talk, I'm your Huckleberry. Just reach out and I'll respond as soon as I can.
Reach out to the Chad Run Thundercock. Unless you're a minor, in which case don't. Then you can follow
Unless you're a
Rico
minor,
Rants.
please, God, don't.
Have a wonderful day, man. You talk.
You,
You have a good day, and I'll maybe talk to you in the future. Take care.
yep. Peace.
Peace. All right, I thought we'd disagree on more. That was still pleasant.